sure, you know, when I used to watch it before I got into movies and acting, and I'm sure it taught me something about tolerance. I certainly, like, you know, love the movie. Yeah, we're doing like the wardrobe fittings and everything, and looking at all the photos from the time. There was a thing called I guess they called the Castro clone, and a lot of people were dressing like, surprisingly, in like flannel shirts, construction boots, Levi's jeans, that kind of thing. And actually, it's not too far from how I normally dress. But I mean, the pants are cut a little different, a little higher, and that kind of thing. But I don't know, I felt comfortable. Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
They're wearing different things, but yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, Levi's were a prominent part of a wardrobe of the Castro.
You got the guy. He was coming anyway. Perfect. Hello. How are you?
You know, Sam, right?
Very good.
Well, you know, Cleve had a pair of jeans and t-shirt usually, or a black leather jacket, and you know, it was pretty simple. He had some very strong glasses, but it was always fun getting into kind of the 70s look.
Levi 501 button flies. Second button down, leave it undone. That was the look. It was hot, still is.
A store that's right over here, that's mainly what they sold were Levi's and tight t-shirts. And they called it the clone look because everyone was wearing it at the same time. Everyone was in Levi's, everyone had the t-shirts. And, you know, I think for a lot of the guys coming here from across the country, they've been told that they weren't masculine, they weren't men because they were gay, and they just wanted to take that back. And so 501s and Levi's being the symbol of American masculinity, Americana, they just wanted to be Americans again. And so they put on their nice tight Levi's and their t-shirts, and I think they took back their Americanism.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. The first day I put those trousers on, it was like suddenly I was a different person, you know. It's like they couldn't be more tight, you know. I didn't know it felt so good, you know. It's something you don't allow yourself to do these days, but yeah, they were really, really tight. So it's also that feeling of like, I don't know. It took me like a week to really relax, you know. I had the feeling everyone was watching my ass and my cock, you know. It was like, oh my God. And then wearing those jackets that were really short, kind of changes the shape, you know. It's suddenly you have long legs and tiny bodies, you know.
Harvey Milk himself was an original. He had demonstrated courage and integrity, and he fought for what he believed in. He had an independent spirit, which was, you know, full of provocative, youthful optimism. Those are all values associated with Levi's, so it's an authentic connection. But he also wore the original Levi's 501 jeans as kind of his uniform of choice, so it just made sense. It's serendipity.
He's such an incredible actor that I think that he has a real intuitive understanding of kind of the soul of the clothes. And that for me was such a wonderful part of the process. If I gave him a gorgeously distressed jacket to put on, he understood the history behind it, and he understood kind of what that history represents. He really got pushed with the brunt of the tightest pants humanly possible, and luckily he had the body to pull it off. But I remember some days feeling a little bad for him because we really just let him have it. And I remember, you know, whatever he told me his waist was, I would automatically pick pants that were 2 inches smaller. And there'd always be a little discussion about whether or not we'd be able to actually just physically get them on his body. And he did, and he always looked great. This is the outfit that he's wearing when he convinces members of the Castro community not to riot, but instead to protest, to walk the streets and protest. So it's a really important outfit, and I thought that it was also important that he is in this red, which he's wearing in all the research, but I really thought that that was such an important color because it represents his prominence, and it represents the fact that he is sort of the centerpiece of that scene, and they're all looking to him for direction and for some sense of outlet. This was a very exciting and important outfit to recreate, and so this top obviously, you know, represents the visibility of the gay community and how the gay community was really beginning to explore how visibility is going to change the way that they exist in the world, and how in order to be visible is to gain respect and to let people understand how many parts of the world are impacted by gay people. You think of the classic 70s look in San Francisco, you really think of the Castro clone. And the Castro clone is usually an incredibly distressed pair of Levi's. The more holes, the better. Skin-tight t-shirt or a Western shirt, either fancy or not, usually snapped front, usually Levi's, sometimes shot with a metallic thread. But they would, you know, buy these clothes and wear them, and they would wear them to death. Whole ritual involved with putting the jeans on. And two of the instruments that were famously used for putting the jeans on were pliers in the case of 517s, which had a zipper, and if you were using 501s, very often people would use a wire hanger wrapped around the buttons, have to lay down on the belt and pull it through the loop, because they were wearing jeans that were usually 2 or 3 inches too tight.